there's a view often that Israel is doing very well, thank you very much, and there's no real poverty issues, and yet it's widespread.
It is. 25% of the population lives under the poverty line. That's about 1.2 million people. Now, of those, about 400,000 of them are in dire poverty. I've been in communities and talked with people that work right with the people, and people have locks on the refrigerators because there's not enough food for people to actually go to the refrigerator and take whenever they want. You know, we're dealing with people that by the end of the month there's not money to buy food. The last week of the month there's no money for food. And in many cases the food that they receive from Bridges for Peace is the difference between whether they eat or they don't eat. Now, it's true, Israel is a very prosperous nation in many ways, and God is blessing the nation of Israel. But you have to stop and consider that in the last 20 years, they've absorbed 1.2 million people, most of them from very poor countries, Jewish people who have come back, made aliyah as we call it, which is immigrating to Israel, and they have nothing. They come off the plane with one suitcase, maybe two. They usually bring a pillow, which I think is kind of interesting, but they have nothing, and they start all over with having to learn a language, retrain for a job, and it takes time. And so we're helping an awful lot of people like that, immigrants who are coming back, I believe, in fulfillment of Bible prophecy with nothing.
Now, you do more than feed and clothe. It's a comprehensive ministry you're doing. Tell me a little bit about some of the other stuff.
Well, we repair homes for the needy. That sort of happened by accident. We have volunteers that come from all over the world to be part of our organization, and usually we have somewhere between 15 and 20 different countries represented. And at one point we had some volunteers who had building skills, and we were delivering food in a poor neighborhood of Jerusalem, and the soup kitchen where we were giving the food said, "We're really worried about Yehuda. He hasn't showed up for food for the last couple of days and we don't have anyone to send. Could you go and check on Yehuda?" And our volunteers said they would, and they went through a labyrinth of back alleys and found Yehuda in a little one-room hovel. The walls were black. They were black from mildew. The roof was leaky. His bed was setting cockeyed in the middle of the room, and when asked why, he said, "Well, it's so I can avoid the drips." There was no heat. It was just a shambles. And they came back with just broken hearts, and they said, "We have to help this man." And since we had several volunteers who knew how to do plastering and painting and the house repairs, we said, "Okay, you've got the tools, go do it." And they went and they completely renovated his little room, fixed the roof, painted, put new plaster on the wall, put in a little kitchen unit for him, got everything ready, and it started a whole ministry. We've now repaired over 800 homes for needy people, people that fall through the cracks, many of them even Holocaust survivors. So everything we do, Jim, is designed to show who Jesus really is, to show the Jewish people that he's not someone who wants to hurt them, not someone who shoves their children into gas chambers, but he is someone that loves them and wants to have a relationship with them.
You must find this ministry catalyzing some pretty deep and sometimes emotional conversations with some individuals, Jewish people who have come to a point of understanding that not all Christians are Nazis.
Yeah, and actually in the last 4 or 5 years there's been a big change. And in fact, even today, rabbis are talking about the fact that this new relationship building that's happening between Christians and Jews is one of the signs of the Messianic age. And so there's a lot of talk going on right now that's actually quite interesting. We are also experiencing some who are highly resistant to the whole idea of relationship with Christians, as saying that it's dangerous, we shouldn't go there. But by and large, I would say that there is really a change in attitude.
They see this group would see you as sugarcoating an agenda.
Right, exactly. A threat to the Jewish nature of the state of Israel.
Yeah, anti-Semitism in a subtle guise.
Right.
What do you say to those who look at a ministry like Bridges and say, "Well, you've made a political statement by determining to work with Jews"? How do you respond to that?
Well, first of all, we don't just work with Jews. So we also help Arab people, mostly Christian Arabs, because we do believe in ministering to the household of faith. in Israel. But the vast majority of our assistance goes to Jewish people, and that's because God has given us a calling to break down the walls that exist between Christians and Jews. Jim, there's many ministries that actually have a very specific agenda, if you want. For instance, Focus on the Family only deals with family issues. And Bridges for Peace has been given a specific task, and that is to change the attitudes of Christians and Jews towards one another.
You know, something that, again, outsiders are not aware of often, and they're quite surprised to hear about it, is the number of Arab Israelis there are. I mean, there's well over 1 million
That's right.
Israelis who are Arabs, because
That's
back
right.
in 1948 they didn't leave when the Arab Legion
That's
said
right.
leave, and they were given citizenship and have all the rights, voting and everything else
That's
that
absolutely
any
right.
Israeli has. Do you have any interaction with some of the Israeli Arabs?
Yes, yes we do. And like I said, we help some of them, and some we help in the Palestinian Authority areas as well. But you're absolutely right. There are Arab Israelis. They're fully Israelis in every way, and many of them are voting for Jewish Israeli political parties in the government. Even though there are Arab Knesset members, many of the Israeli Arabs just see themselves as Israelis and vote according to issues.
Well, Israel is a vital democracy, is it not?
It is. The only one in the Middle East, by the way.
Yeah, the last time I was there, I mean, when I lived there, I think there was well over 30 political parties. I don't know if that's still the case or not, but
It varies between 20 and 30 every election.
and so
It's quite amusing,
well,
actually.
yeah, to lead, you're always having to finesse a coalition into
That's
existence,
right.
and boy, what a balancing act. Just a couple minutes left. Any vision for the future for Bridges, or is it just enough to keep doing what you're doing?
Well, we really do believe that the Lord has showed us in the Scripture that there are some difficult days coming in that part of the world. And we believe that God is positioning us to be a part of the solution and the answer in those days. So one of the things we have done, in addition to distributing 65 tons of food every month, we're now storing 500 tons of food in northern Israel in a storehouse. We're part of the emergency planning committee for the northern part of Israel. And we believe that, that God has instructed us to be like Joseph, storing up for a time of difficulty. Now, I don't know exactly what that's going to be, and I'm not going to be a prophet and say Magog is right around the corner, that great war, but we do know that things are going to happen, and we want to be there and ready. There's no time like times of crisis to prove your friendship. And we know that our standing with the people of Israel in time of difficulty will not go unnoticed.
Do you have a website?
Yes.
What is it?
www.bridgesforpeace.com.
Well, there you go. That's not hard to remember. Bridgesforpeace.com.
That's right.
Well, thanks, Becky, for coming our way.
Well, my pleasure.
Nice to see you again,
You too.
along with your husband, Tom, and John Housen and his wife. John is your Canadian...
He's our Canadian National Director.
National Director, doing a great job.
He is, yeah.
He's just been so faithful over so many years.
That's right.
And I know we have a lot of our viewers who are supporting your work. All the best to you.
Thank you.